They're getting drunk. They're getting drunk. They're a bunch of idiots getting drunk, talking about conspiracy theories. There's really not much more to it than that. You're listening to Drunk Theory.
It is.
This
It's
already
fine.
good.
Are you drinking the drink? We haven't started that one yet.
What?
We were just doing.
Okay.
Hold on. Say it again.
I am drinking the drink. I don't drink a lot, so I'm going to drink a lot of the drink.
Okay. Kelly's making our drinks now.
The glitter is pretty. I don't think it adds much texture or flavor.
I think the glitter is weird. I was like, maybe do it without the glitter. But I've never had a drink with glitter, so that'll be a first. I like your background,
Thank you. I
Hollywood.
have many. I have many to share with you along the way.
That's not what it says.
It does say
Haunted
Hollywood.
object.
There's 3 O's.
That's,
Oh, it's backwards. I
Yeah.
see.
Damn.
I'm just on my patio. This is what's.
And so it is 6 o'clock where you are, right?
That's right. And all's well.
Don't trip over my shit. We're still trying to we're trying.
Get our crap together. Yeah.
Okay.
Take your time. I'm just here. I'm just so happy to be with people. People.
That's right. Y'all are still locked down pretty hard up there, aren't you?
Kind of easing up. I got my first shot, so I need my second one.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right.
So you guys are, I like this. I read your bios and things, and I love the idea that you have really good intentions in doing research and you don't get around to it. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
I love-
We go in gung ho as hell, right? And then
I'm
we end
gonna
up
make
with
it up.
nothing.
Y'all discuss that. I got my.
Just make it up.
Kelly, you're sitting behind us. Just
Okay.
stand. Right here next to
Hi.
Hello.
You got all the goods, huh?
We didn't change.
Oh, shut all my crap's over.
All
here.
set.
Here, can you hand me my notebook?
Oh, high octane.
That's right across
Hold up.
there. Yeah.
Hold on. First, take your phone.
Okay.
Are you going to use glitter?
Do what?
You going to put glitter in it?
Yeah. Here's our little $15 for this goddamn
That's
glitter.
exactly what I got.
The
Exactly.
brew glitter.
Did you order it or do y'all sell it somewhere?
I
She had to
ordered
order it.
I ordered it.
Amazon.
Amazon. The cheaper one they were all out of. Is that the one you went for first?
Do what now?
The cheaper one they were all out of. I
Yeah,
tried.
it wasn't good. Well, they said it wasn't gonna get here on time, so I was just
That's
like,
good.
screw it. I'm just gonna buy whatever I can get.
I bet you could get it at like Party City or
Yeah.
one of those fucking places.
I even went and
Hobby
I
Lobby.
looked
Yeah,
at
Hobby Lobby.
Ingles because I thought maybe like in the cake decorating and shit like that.
Right.
But no.
Ryan, you gonna drink one of these? No.
Mm-mm.
How many have you had already?
This is like number 2.
Oh,
I'm
We've
good for
had
like
so
4 and then
many
I'll be- I'll
shots.
be worried. Firewater hasn't been in my culture that long, so.
gotcha.
We Polynesians, we have kava, I think. That's it.
Would you like some glitter?
Yeah, give me some glitter. Fuck
Devil
it.
Westerners in your alcohol.
Like some glitter?
Yeah, he doesn't. There's no questions. It's everybody gets glitter.
Yeah.
'Cause we're doing a whole thing.
I put it in my shaker, so I mean, I'm committed.
It smells good.
Yeah, it does smell good.
You're not supposed to smell it first. I know that. But you ready?
Yeah,
Let's do one together. Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Oh, hang on.
It tastes good. too.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, you got a fancy. Is that an umbrella?
It's an apple. It's an apple.
Oh man, that is good.
That's
Isn't
awesome.
it? See,
All right.
the vodka kills our liver, but the glitter makes a little pearl. So that when when they
Yeah.
extract it, we've left behind a gem.
That is pretty damn good. I'm
That's
excited
very
about it.
Yeah, I got to try these the other day because I make TikTok videos that go with making the drinks.
I watched. it.
Sit in the floor.
What?
Because Ryan moved all the stuff over here and then Kayla took his spot.
Oh,
You guys, where are you all?
we are in Greenville, South Carolina.
Greenville, South Carolina. I
Yes.
have not been to South Carolina since or 3 years ago. And I'm in
Hollywood, California, or Florida?
California.
Hollywood, Florida is a terrible place.
This place has its
I'm
moments,
pretty sure
it's
he's in
pretty good.
Dewey Law, and I've never even heard of that. Sounds made up to me.
All right, everybody all set?
Ryan, you can sit down. Okay. All right, we're gonna do our whole intro thing.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
I'm living
Yes.
for it. Yep.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. Welcome to Drunk Theory. I'm Kara,
I'm Matthew.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Ryan.
and today we are talking about haunted objects, and we have a very special guest, Joe Moe. But
I
first,
have a haunted object.
Kelly, what are we drinking?
We are drinking the Spirit Summoner, which is a shot of vodka with 3 ounces of apple martini mix and just a sprinkle of edible green glitter.
Edible glitter, y'all.
You got the edible kind?
Oh, yeah. And
It's actually very good.
it is so yummy.
I feel like it's gonna give me a hangover though.
Very good.
Probably.
Yeah, it is. It's worth it. We're in now.
Is it worth it? We'll find out. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Committed. And look, my
Always
green
worth it.
screen. My green screen allows me to project whatever I want on my drink.
Sweet.
Fancy, schmancy.
So like I said, we are joined today by Joe Moe. Joe, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself. Tell them where they can find you, whatever you want to talk about.
All right. I'm Joe Moe, and I am like these folks. I am steeped in horror from a very early age. I fell in love with horror, and I had the good fortune of meeting and befriending and taking care of one of the men who created fandom, Forrest J. Ackerman, who created Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine with I'll show you it, with James Warren, his publisher.
Oh, sweet.
So Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine, for all of us kids back in the 60s, living in rural places. I was on an island, I'm from Hawaii. That was like our connection to movies and to horror movies and you know, little kids like Elvira, you know, Cassandra Peterson and Steven Spielberg and Stephen King. All of these kids who dreamt about being part of this would read this magazine that this old man, Forrest Ackerman, created. And we would just stream along with him, and he'd sort of be our sensei. He'd come back and say, well, I talked to Walt Disney today, and he told me he brought Bela Lugosi in to do some film work for the Chernobyl and Fantasia, and he'd just answer all the questions we wanted. So flash forward, I lived with him in Horrorwood, California, where you know, where all of that movie magic happened, in his collection of 800,000 objects and items from all over the world and from all of the people that he inspired to make movies. And I sort of was the curator of his collection, and took care of him as he got older. We took care of each other. And so I kind of inherited a passion for monsters, for movie making, for the horror community, who are the most creative, phenomenal fans I've ever met anywhere. And, you know, for now that I'm ancient, for sort of inspiring and mentoring kids to find their voice through writing and through other creative endeavors, and then to share it, which is even more important. So that's sort of who I am.
And we love you.
Oh my God.
And I love you too.
You
And
know we're related.
I wouldn't drink
We
a
share a
gallon.
brain.
I wouldn't drink a gallon of bile for anybody but you guys.
Right? So I have a question. This magazine that you were talking about, is that still in print today?
Famous Monsters just the latest publisher just went into retirement. But it is, if you think about it, this is another feather in our cap, collective cap. Famous Monsters, even though it's genre specific, it's a monster magazine. It was published in 1958 and continued on till just last year. So that makes it the longest continuously published entertainment magazine in the world.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
Monster
awesome. I don't know
Jewel.
if I've ever, I don't think I've ever seen one of those. Like, I was big on
Fangoria.
Fangoria.
Fangoria was inspired by Famous Monsters.
Yeah.
The
That's
little
what came
comic book
next.
shop in Easley had Fangoria, Rue Morgue, and Famous Monsters. It was the only place that I've ever
Oh,
seen that had
shit.
all 3 of them in one spot.
That's neat. But
Yeah.
so they're out of business now.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're hibernating. It never goes away for long, because if
Yeah.
you think about it, fans like Guillermo del Toro and, you know, Kirk Hammett, all these people who love it, want to bring it forward all the time. So it doesn't usually go to sleep for too long. It's had little doses, but it'll be back.
Yeah. I'm hoping the same thing for Fangoria because they had stopped for a while and now they're back to subscription. I think they will send it to you, but you can't buy them. Used to I would go to Barnes and Noble just for that,
Right.
but now you can't buy it anywhere. You got to do the subscription. Hopefully everybody will come back.
Yep, the internet, the web, the internet, digital media has kind of killed print.
But I love it. I like to be able to look through it. I like to be able to sit it under my bed for later. Like I don't want to do everything on my fucking phone. Some shit I want to look at.
Yep.
Cut it out and tape it on my wall like I'm 17.
Exactly.
Make me a little collage.
We gotta hire cranky mothers to come in and scold us for it.
Yeah.
What that leads to an
This is gonna rot your mind.
Our parents actually were not like that. They loved horror just like we do. So they were like, watch whatever the hell you want to watch. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, like we were little when Elm Street came out. We were like 4.
I remember going to the drive-in to see Cujo. And I would have been like 3, but I remember being there. I don't remember paying a whole lot of attention, but I remember me and you sleeping in the back of the red Chevette because it laid all the way down.
So yeah, our parents just watched what they wanted to watch, and if we happened to be there, that was okay too.
They were like, whatever, you want to watch this? I remember I watched Blood Sucking Freaks, and I haven't seen it since, I don't think.
Oh, I've seen it since.
It's time to revisit.
But I remember, and I would have been little. All I remember is the part where the guy had all the naked bitches as furniture. But this is 4-year-old me, and I remember like a naked bitch was his coffee table.
People are gonna think we were like abused.
We were not abused. My parents are amazing.
When we're kids, those memories, it scares the crap out of us for a week, but we never forget it. I had a friend in the 60s who went to a drive-in movie theater to see something like Mary Poppins or something. And like right before the movie came on, they accidentally cut in a trailer for Herschel Gordon Lewis's like something, Meat Grinder Babes or whatever it was. and they couldn't do anything about it. So the guy came on and said, "Children, please cover your eyes for the next 2 minutes." And nobody fucking did. Everybody's they saw these women being put through meat grinders and blood everywhere. It never left him. He's screwed up till this day.
This does not have anything to do with the podcast we're about to do, but maybe you will remember. I have a specific fucking memory from when we were little. They used to, I guess it was a specific channel or whatever that would play fucking horror movies, probably the terrible B movies or whatever. But right before something that your kids don't need to see would happen, like if there was a boob shot, it would be like a completely bright ass green screen and then a hand hitting a gong or something. And that means, wait a minute, there's about to be boobs. Get your fucking kid out of here. Or it would be a red screen. Do you not remember this? I even asked this question on Reddit and nobody knows.
That's going to be a William Castle picture. He was the king of hype. He was the one that said, the tingler, if you feel your seat vibrate, scream. That's the only way to get rid of the tingler. And he put like vibrators underneath the seats in the theater. Yeah. And you just have to scream. He was the king of the gimmick. He's the one that was like, there'll be a nurse in the lobby if you to take care of you if you can't handle it.
So you think that what I'm remembering was part of a specific movie, or was it a channel version? I thought it was just the channel and that's how they did. But this is my 6-year-old brain. But I specifically remember like the hand hitting the gong, and it was like, get your.
It could have been where he did it for one whole movie, just as like a gimmick for just that.
It might be, but I even asked on like Reddit, and nobody knows what the fuck I'm. But I'm not insane. I don't remember.
When they first did Psycho, they required you couldn't leave or exit before the movie started or ended. And he bought up, Alfred Hitchcock bought up every copy of the book so you couldn't read beforehand to fuck up his ending. Like people used to do that to hype up a movie really big because you couldn't hype it up on TV if only 20% of America had TV.
Yeah. I specifically remember that though, and nobody can tell me where the fuck I remember it.
I think I'm gonna look it
I
up.
have a vague memory.
I don't remember the gong.
You remember the gong?
I don't remember the gong, but I remember the red and green lights.
Oh, see, and no, because you could only. I've tried. I've Googled every combination.
William Castle's movies.
Okay, write it down.
William Castle got it.
Because somebody, I mean, I'm not insane, but people are trying to make me feel like I'm insane
Well-
now. They're like, that never happened. And I'm like, the fuck it didn't. Like, I know that it fucking did. And like, well, what movie was it? I don't remember. All I remember is the gong.
Yeah. And then there were some boobs.
Yeah, and then they're like, there's boobs. And you know,
Boobies.
it's like it's telling the parents. It's like, hey, get your kids out of here. It's about to be some badge or whatever.
Yes,
Oh
you
my
would love
goodness.
William Castle. You have to watch all of William Castle's stuff. It's pretty great.
And we absolutely will, because if I see that, I feel like I might start crying, because
Yes,
I have been looking
make
for
it
this
know.
gong shit for years. And everybody's like, fuck are you talking
What
about?
are you talking about?
Right. And I feel like it would have been around the same time as Gilbert Godfrey and that fucking bitch did that goddamn thing. The Up All Night with So maybe it was a movie that they did on Up All Night.
Maybe.
that-
I think the thing is that we saw things that nobody else in our age group should have, probably. So nobody that
we can't talk to our friends
No.
about this because they're like, that's child abuse.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man. We were eating pudding. We were good. Like,
When I was a kid, they didn't have a rating system, so I would go see like The Wild Hunt, Cat of Nine Tails. You know, my dad
Yeah.
just loved movies, so
PG-13
Never-
covered basically a good bit of violence and boobs all the way up until the mid 80s.
Isn't it?
Or later, like Porky's and shit like that, or an earlier.
I love
like
Porky's.
PG-13.
and,
Like,
and
it's
you can say
crazy.
fuck one time.
There's
Yeah, that's
your
the
rating
limit.
depends on how many times you say fuck.
Yep, you get one fuck for an R-rated movie.
One fuck.
and I think it was
used to be
what,
way
like
more lax.
I think it was like 2 or 3 thrusts before you got a
Yeah, like fake for us, there was a limit. There was, it's ridiculous. It's
Oh my
crazy. It got
which
so
for some
ridiculous,
people
a
that's
British
plenty.
dude- a British guy sent in like 12 hours of paint drying just to make him watch it because they annoyed him.
Oh, I remember. I read
Yeah,
about that. I read
like,
about that.
That's how annoying the fucking like ratings board is. It's so ridiculous.
Well, I remember. This is the last thing I'm gonna do off track before we get into our real topic. But
Mhm.
my favorite documentary ever is called "This Film Is Not Yet Rated." Have you watched that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking loved that. That was because I had no idea that's how any of that shit fucking worked.
Mhm.
Have you seen it?
No.
It's about the
It's great.
MPAA, and
How they rate movies, they're all
holy
secret
shit,
people
nobody
who they
knows who any
are.
of the people
Yeah,
are.
and they,
They're just like
everything
a,
is
a
subjective.
secret Illuminati society.
You might
Yes, it's
Some
fucking
people filmed
wild.
6 or 7 cuts of the same shit and changed nothing 2 or 3 times, and they lowered the rating because they thought they had.
Yeah.
That's how dumb it is.
And then they found all the shit in the trash can. What was it? The movie that had so many fucks in it.
Oh, I know.
They just threw it away, and there was like
They threw
130.
away all the fucks.
There was like
No, they just did
137
the whole
fucks
movie.
in
They
there.
just
They
said,
just
"Fuck
threw
it,
the
we're
whole
not
thing.
even
They were like,
trying."
no, we're not doing this. There's
Yeah.
like 137 fucks in it.
It's crazy. Nobody knows who they are
That's
at all. They're
Absolutely,
completely
probably my
secret.
favorite documentary in the world. I can't believe
It
you've
is
never
super
seen
No,
it.
I've never seen
I'll
it, but
tell
I'm gonna look for it.
Gotta
Matt,
be
you have
on your
to
list.
remember this.
All right, so I guess we're gonna get into our topic, and as you know, I guess Kelly told you we're doing haunted
What's it?
objects.
Haunted
Oh,
and
heck
cursed
yes.
objects.
And so I see you posting pictures a lot. You work at some sort of museum type
My
thing.
day job is I write the catalog for Profiles in History, which is the premier Hollywood memorabilia auction house. So all the movie props and art and costumes and everything come through our shop, and I get to handle them, put them on if I have
But
to.
it's all movie stuff, so it's not
All
like
movie stuff.
I couldn't bring you something and go, hey, this is cursed. Like, you don't take it. It's all movie
Well, you
stuff.
could.
Also
You
tell
could, and
you.
I'd be happy with it.
It's like
Maybe
Unless you
we'll
want
make a
to sell
back
it, I
alley
can-
side
It's like
deal.
you're not doing too bad.
Unless you wanted to sell it, you know.
So have you seen anything come through from any of the supposedly cursed films, or seen any object that came through and everybody's like, I don't want to mess with that? Something like maybe from Poltergeist or The Exorcist.
The Exorcist is what I was about to say.
Lots of exorcists, lots of poltergeists, but the kind of stuff I get, poltergeist, like we had a couple of the clown dolls, you know, because they made a bunch of them in different expressions, from
Yeah.
you know, from benign to horrifying. We've sold one of each. I think we just sold one in the last sale. Exorcist, more like esoteric stuff you'd like William Peter Blatty's actual manuscript that with all his notes when he wrote the script, stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's neat.
That's cool. Yeah.
But then like lots of cool stuff like the cuckoo clock from the Munsters and and Dorothy's ruby slippers from Wizard
Do
of
y'all
Oz.
do a Black Friday sale?
What's that?
Because I'm poor. Black Friday sale where
Their
shit's
Black,
like,
I'm
their
poor
Black Friday
too.
sale means it goes up.
Do what?
It goes up. Prices go up.
Yeah, I get to pretend it's mine for 3 months, and then people that can afford it buy it. So I can't afford it either. I've got the best collection in the world for about 3 months, and then
Man, nothing.
Well, that sounds like the best job ever.
All right, so
It's a lot
I'm
of fun.
hearing though that you're a skeptic, so you don't really believe.
I am well, I am. I want to believe. That's the kind of skeptic I am. I want to believe, and I've had some pretty hairy experiences, but just not quite to the point where I could attribute them to, like I've seen what people would consider ghosts, and I've seen physical manifestations of things, but it's the kind of stuff where you're going, well, I don't know where all that blood came from, because someone would be dead if it was from a person or an animal, but I don't know, so it's strange.
So
That
we're gonna
intriguing or
try
what?
to change your mind. We absolutely will not, because we're not very good at research, as you know.
I'm a skeptic also, but I always do research on the topic.
I didn't do any research.
Except for Matt never does any research.
So for haunted objects, who wants to go first?
You go first.
Oh, I get to go first.
Yay!
I have one here, by the way, potentially.
Oh, what do you want to
Go
go ahead
ahead,
and
go
say?
ahead. I wanted to tease that. I actually have
Oh,
something
teaser
that
for
I
the end,
own
you guys. Now I got to
that
stay
has
the
a
whole way
story.
through and get me
Yeah.
a YouTube rating.
As a story.
Okay, for haunted objects, I had originally I wanted to do the Annabelle doll. That
Yes.
shit is boring as fuck. So no, that's
People are
boring
kind
as
of
fuck.
familiar with it, but it's pretty cool.
Not as cool as this. I decided on Thomas Busby's Stoop chair. Do you know this one?
I know.
I do
know
not.
about it.
But Joe
Yes,
Moe does.
I know Thomas. I know the Stoop chair. Yes.
Oh, the Stoop chair is my favorite.
Really?
But Ryan left. I'm gonna keep going. All right. Thomas Busby's Stoop chair, also known as the Dead Man's chair. Apparently, Thomas Busby was hung in 1702 for murdering his father-in-law. Now, I'm assuming this is one of those that happened so long ago, we don't really have a whole bunch of records. So there's different stories about what happened. He did get in he was a coin counterfeiter. So, I mean, he's obviously just a straight up shit guy to begin with. Like, he's already a criminal. Him and his father-in-law got into an argument, and there's different stories about what they're arguing about, blah, blah, blah. But supposedly it was during a business dispute, and he was drunk because he was always drunk. Because why not? I mean, you're a coin counterfeiter. Well, I mean, let's
If
just
I was
be,
counterfeiting coins,
I'd just be drunk all the time because
we've been doing this podcast full time.
But some say he strangled him for sitting in his favorite chair. So I don't know if there was a witness
It's like Michelle.
that, to where he was already pissed because there was a fight, and he was like, "And you sat in my favorite fucking chair." In my mind, that's how I'm picturing it. So he was super pissed about whatever, and also pissed that the guy sat in his favorite chair. This chair is located at his favorite bar.
Oh, I'd be pissed too. That's my sick bitch.
I've also heard different stories about how he did the murder. I heard strangling was one. I also heard bludgeoned. So he either strangled his father-in-law to death or he bludgeoned him to death, which is two very different things. So I don't
It is.
understand how we don't know.
You think you might use a combination of the two?
Well, yeah, maybe he strangled him
I mean,
and then just beat the shit out of his dead
What is
face.
it? Are there restrictions? Are there restrictions? I'm poking you so I
But-
can get you with this candlestick. But.
There are also two variations, and probably even more than two, but just from the research that I did. Some people say that, you get like your last request or whatever, right? Well, y'all remember this is in, I don't know if I said it. Y'all, I'm so drunk
It's
already.
in the 1700s.
It's in the 1700s, but it's also in the UK. It's in New Yorkshire, UK. So his last request, he wanted one last drink at the pub in his favorite chair. And so, the cops took him. Is that a thing? Like,
Not now. Not now.
well, they ask you, what you want for your last meal? Could I say I want chicken wings at the pub, and they have to take me to the pub to eat my chicken wings?
I don't
It was
think
in England. They're very, very genteel there.
But
we have a lot of like UK followers.
we do. So maybe somebody can tell me how the hell this works.
They like the accents, and we like their accents.
You're actually
But-
very exotic.
So
For
the
me.
two variations of this are, one is he was already convicted and on his way to be hung, and his last request was one last drink at this bar. So they take him to this bar, he sits in his chair, he drinks his drink, and as he's getting ready to leave, he goes, anybody who ever sits in this chair is going to die. The other variation is that he was at the bar drinking when they showed up to arrest him for the murder. And again, he's like, anybody who sits in the chair is gonna fucking die. So we really don't know. But I learned a new word. Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you see me?
Uh-oh.
Can you see me?
I can see you and I can hear you and I'm waiting for the word. What's the word you learned?
Oh, gibbeted. Do you know the word gibbeted? Gibbeted. Apparently, that means that's when they hang somebody from the gallows for all of the town to laugh at. They call it gibbeted. So he was gibbeted at Sand Hutton Crossroads beside a hotel that later changed their name to the Busby Stoop Inn just to cash in on him getting hung right there.
Oh my
I thought,
But when
I thought
they
you were
hung
gonna say
people,
they changed it to the flippantly gibbeted.
when they hung people just to like show people what's what, like, hey, this is what happens when you do what this guy did, that's called being gibbeted. So he got gibbeted.
Gibbeted.
Gibbeted, right? I've never heard
I've
that.
never heard it. And it might just be a UK thing. Like,
No, they say in first-person shooter games when you're blown up,
Oh,
you're turning to Gibbs.
Oh, like
You're
Call of
Gibbs.
Duty.
Like if you shoot a rocket at someone and they blow into a bunch of pieces, that's Gibbs.
But okay, so he was gibbeted at the Sand Hutton Crossroads beside an inn that later changed its name to the Busby Stoop Inn. Supposedly, right after that, people started dying, just weird ass deaths if they sat in this chair, right? So it took probably years, right? And finally, the owner of the bar, because remember this chair is at the bar, he was like, I'm gonna put it in the basement because it's kind of weird, right? So they put the fucking chair in the basement. Then somehow during the Second World War, Kelly, you're the nerd. What year is that?
was that the
I was just a kid.
30s? 30s, so like 1930s.
38 to 44.
For whatever reason, there was a base there or close to there. So this was the bar that the airmen would go to. They would go down to the basement. I don't know if they got permission or if they just did it or whatever, but remember the chairs in the basement. So they would go down. Supposedly, and I could not find any actual records, but supposedly every airman that sat in that chair never made it home. They died in, air combat or whatever the hell this is. 1970s, there were some fatal accidents linked with the chair. I know there was a maid that supposedly was cleaning downstairs or whatever. She just bumped into it and she died from a brain tumor. And I mean, it's just one after the other. It's like every fucking one. So finally, in 1978, the owner, which this would be a different, I guess this is a family establishment or whatever. So, or, whatever. The owner of the bar at that time was like, fuck this shit. I'm giving it to this museum. And it went to the Thirsk, Thirsk Museum. They hung it 5 feet off the ground. So nobody could fucking sit in it because they were like, I don't know, it's fucking weird, But they, for whatever reason, eventually had a furniture historian, which is apparently a job that I didn't know was a job.
I did not know that was a job either.
Yeah.
He came in and he says that the chair that they have hanging in the Thirsk Museum came from around 1840, which is 138 years after that fucking guy died. And that chair is still in that museum as his, even though these people have said.
Right.
But there are so many stories, but again, I could not find anything concrete. You can't find any names. but I fucking love it. Like, if
saw
I
pictures
went to
hanging.
do what?
There's pictures of it hanging in the museum.
Yeah, and I think I posted that one on our Twitter, one of the pictures of it. But if they decided to bring it down one day, would you fucking sit in it?
Yeah, why not?
You would sit? Would you sit in it? Mm-mm. And he's not even a believer. I wouldn't sit in it either. Fuck y'all, I'm not sitting in that chair.
That's not how I want to believe. I don't want to discover my belief after planting my ass in the death chair. I don't know.
But I mean, I love that story. I think it's so awesome, but I hate it. And I get, a lot of it is with it being so old, you cannot find any concrete, like there's no newspaper about, so and so, but some of the deaths that happened in the 70s were supposedly just tourists that stopped in before he had sent it to the museum. And then there were at least 3 different sets that I found where it was tourists that stopped and sat in the chair. All of them died in car wrecks, never made it home from their vacation. And I mean, I'm super into, well, that's a fucking coincidence. But how many fucking coincidences does it take for it to be like some weird shit? Like, eventually it stops being a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that guy was
Hey,
super possessive of that chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shit. I suck.
She better forget him.
I forgot my husband.
But that's all I've got for the
Family.
Stoop. That's
That's
all
a
I've
good
got
one.
for the Stoop chair.
That's a really good one.
I love that one.
That is a good one. And
And I had
never heard
seen
of
the
it before.
picture and I had read it before, but when we picked and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna do Annabelle. I wasn't thinking about it, and then I was like,
I feel like everybody does Annabelle though.
yeah, Annabelle is not interesting to me.
Maybe it's just been
A
done
chair's
so
really
much.
creepy because like some things are like mythological, objects, and people are like, don't go near the monkey's paw. Don't touch
Yeah.
the chair. It's like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and eat, I'm gonna have a drink. I'm gonna eat some popcorn. I'm gonna eat this filthy bowl of nuts. And you sit in it, right? And then you're dead. the next day
And
the-
well, one of the stories that I did read was, it was before they had put it in the basement, so it's still there.
Mhm.
And I don't remember if it was an airman or if it was a regular guy, but all the tables were dirty. So he sat down in that chair, and the waitress or whoever came over and was like, oh, get the fuck up, get the fuck up. I'm gonna clean off this table and clean off the table real quick. And he's one of the ones that died in a car wreck.
So she knew, and they left the chair out there.
They had like, well, I
Like-
guess maybe she was, I guess like if I owned a store and I was like, that's haunted, but you're a skeptic and you're like, that's fucking
Yeah, if the
whatever.
owner's like skeptical, but
You wouldn't move it to the basement just because that one weirdo that works for you thinks it's haunted. You know what I mean? So what do you do?
Do you think that they like guided certain people to the chair? Like assholes, they just like, here, come have a seat.
Oh man, I totally would because I'm a terrible person.
yeah, like the assholes in the bar that are always starting shit.
Yeah, like if some asshole grabbed
Or
my ass while I was bringing him his coffee,
Right,
yeah, I'm gonna
grabbing
be
the
like, why don't you
waitress's
come have
ass.
a seat over
Yeah.
here?
Have a seat at the bar. We'll take real good care of you.
Yeah, there's not the next beer's on me. Next beer's on me. Sit right there, and I'll bring it to you. Yep. that's
Yep.
what I would do.
Hold on, we're Paul. There we go.
Oh.
We got it.
Yeah, we're getting the
We need
connection.
to
or
start hooking up to fucking Ethernet.
Yeah.
An Ethernet cable like just running over there.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
we need to
We don't
transfer
plan
those
very well.
Yeah.
fucking-
So who wants to go next for haunted objects?
I'll go.
Okay. Or whenever, you said you had one, when you just jump right in.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I have one I brought from that. I'll do a really quick thing. I'll just show you this thing because I thought of you guys, and I'll tell you why I thought of it. It's a begging bowl from the Tibetan monk, and it's made from a monkey skull. And begging monks carry begging bowls around in the morning for alms, for money and also for their food. When I was in Thailand, I heard this story about how the monks were so unassuming. The lepers would march in the morning, and people would put rice in their bowls. And one monk was walking along, and they put rice in his bowl, and his nose fell into it.
Oh wow.
So I thought that was gross. But anyway, the reason I picked this for you guys is because in this particular begging bowl, the curse to this bowl is that you had to feed it wine or it would be evil and malevolent. I thought that was appropriate for us.
It is
Absolutely.
very appropriate.
So that's
You know us too well.
We could keep those spirits at bay forever.
So that's my short one, and then I'll tell you the other one after you tell your spooky one.
After I do mine. Okay, so mine is more of a cursed object than a haunted object. I chose the Chinese Terracotta Army. And this starts with Emperor Qin Shi Huang. And Qin Shi Huang was the first emperor of China in 221 BC. And he became the first emperor after he conquered all the other warring states and unified the entirety of China. And he actually gave himself that title. So that's why he was the first emperor.
He's like, I'm emperor now. Fuck
Yeah,
y'all.
he's like, I done conquered all
I would
this
make
shit.
him sit in that chair.
He's like, I done conquered all this shit, emperor, because all the rulers before then had been king. So yes, he was the first emperor. I put down some notable achievements of his just because I think it was kind of neat. So as he unified all of China, he standardized weights and measurements. He established a national currency. He constructed a massive new national road system, and he also built the various existing state walls into a giant Great Wall. So
Okay, he did a bunch of pretty cool shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, he can be emperor. He can be emperor.
yeah, so he did some stuff.
He earned it.
But what we're talking about is his mausoleum. And it was his mausoleum was discovered to house the famous Terracotta Army, and it was constructed over 38 years. And this was from the years 246 BC to 208 BC. And it consisted of a tomb with an extensive surrounding necropolis. So there's his tomb, and then there's all these statues and all these other things around it, which is essentially the size of a whole city. His mausoleum.
How
It's
big
underground?
are the army soldiers?
I think they're like 5 feet.
Yeah, they're like a little bit less than people tall.
Yeah, or
But much bigger around, I think.
maybe about people tall. They were
Okay.
meant to look like people.
Okay.
So in addition to more than 8,000 soldiers, which have been found so far, there are also hundreds of other figures that they found in this necropolis. They have horses and chariots and musicians and acrobats and concubines, and all of
Concubines
this.
and season 2 RuPaul's Drag Race. From that.
All of this was to ensure that Qin Shi Huang would have not only protection, but also have kind of the grand treatment in his afterlife. That
They gave him concubines. They're like, here you go, son. You earned it.
and some people say that it was actually like a benevolent gesture to make them out of terracotta, because a lot before then would have sacrificed humans. Like, I'm sacrificing a human concubine to make sure I get a human, just to make sure I get a concubine in
Maybe
the
I don't know
afterlife.
what a
Make sure you
concubine
have-
is,
It's a hooker.
but I thought it was a dead hooker.
No, a concubine is like.
No, it's
your
just a hooker.
interior-
What's a
interior-
dead hooker?
Just a dead hooker.
No, what's the ghost hooker?
That's not. Concubine is this. It's like.
No, there's like a neck.
Oh,
neck.
you're talking about
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
the one that kills Chef from South Park. They have a name. They're demons.
So
that kill
concubine
you.
is a regular hooker.
Demons that kill you through, demons that kill you through sex.
Why don't we still call them
Like
that?
a
That sounds so
concubine.
cool.
Is it still concubine?
No, there is a ghost that fucks you. There's
A succubus?
Thank you.
an incubus is one, right?
Incubus are boys, succubus are
Succubus is
girls.
a girl.
Okay, I was confused. That's what I thought. So when you told me that they killed some real ones, I'm like,
I know the dead hooker.
Oh, I love this so much. There is a ghost that fucks you. That's
there's two.
What else is there?
Apparently, you got to be gender specific, right? Like,
Yeah.
but a concubine is just a regular hooker. I see concubines every day on my way to
A
work.
hooker has a choice.
That's wild. I thought concubine.
A hooker has a choice. A concubine is forced. It's like the
Is it a
king's
slave?
woman.
I like sex trafficking
Yes.
victims.
Oh,
Like
well,
the
that's
king,
sad.
the king
I
can
don't
just
like
pick
that.
100
That's
women.
even sadder.
The king could pick 100 women, have them to the side, and just do whoever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Like,
Okay.
That's the way it worked back then. Yeah.
Well, That's depressing.
Yeah.
And this whole story is actually depressing. honestly.
I mean,
She
everything-
texted me and told me that it was super sad.
pretty
She's
much-
like, I'm not
pretty
gonna know
much
how long it is.
everything from 1,000 years ago is depressing.
Right.
I mean,
So it is estimated that over 700,000 workers were involved in the construction of the mausoleum. Mass
Damn.
graves within the mausoleum are thought to contain the bodies of craftsmen and laborers who died during the
they
construction.
didn't even take
You
them
gotta-
outside.
Yeah, I mean, you
Wow.
gotta imagine this is over 38
Well, I would
years.
want to get buried on the inside with the fucking hookers, right?
That's true. At least you'd be inside in case you have a chance. Yeah.
It would have been rude for them to take them
That's
out.
true. That's true. I get it now. If you're inside, technically, you would
Yeah.
be considered royal, I guess, right?
All those craftspeople, all those specialists, what do? They cough. Do they say, "Bring in the apprentice"? You know, so teach him quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like
mean,
maybe at the end
I mean,
it's so
these are
shitty
specialists.
because it was the leftover bad people. That's something I never would have thought about. Who's left to do the end of it? We've been dying for 200 years. All the best guys are dead.
Alright, cool.
How's your handwriting? Come here. I've got a job for you. Shadow this guy.
So the Terracotta Warriors were discovered on March 29th, 1974, after a group of poor farmers were instructed to dig a well in Siam, China. And it was during a terrible drought. They're like, we ain't got no motherfucking water. Y'all need to dig a motherfucking hole.
Dig a hole. That's where the water is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
So these dudes had to dig this fucking hole.
I love that. Imagine these guys. You found the terracotta. You found the Terracotta Army, but we're so thirsty.
All these assholes drank up all the water.
Oh.
As they're digging this well, they find one of the terracotta soldiers, and it looks like it's a group of about 7 of them that are in this one spot digging that find the first terracotta soldier. And so at that point, everybody gets all excited and everything, and the kind of discovery, it brings all this wealth and tourism and, you know, all this coolness to China, but it absolutely devastated the people that found it. And that's why it's kind of called the curse of the Terracotta Warriors, because all the land around that, including the land that was owned by the farmers that were digging this hole, was just taken at that point by the government.
Oh yeah, because that's government shit now.
Because they wanted to build museums and gift shops and all this stuff for tourists.
I have a question right quick to
Yeah.
interrupt you because I don't know about laws. If I dig a hole in my backyard and I find another equivalent of Terracotta Army, does the government get to take my house? Or I own it if I find it here?
They would take
right?
it through eminent domain and you could fight it in court, but you would probably lose. There's a whole bunch of people who did, well, it's not here, but in England, they found like a whole bunch of $1 million in coins, and the government said, nah. it's
That's in
ours.
England. I thought it
No,
here.
I said I only had the option. I only had the equivalent in England. I don't
Well,
know
that's
if
what
it's
I'm saying.
happened here.
I thought here,
But I'm
like
sure
if
it
I
has.
dig something up, I thought that shit was mine.
I want to say I think you get like
Unless, like, if I dig it
think
up
you
in a
get-
park,
no,
then it
if
goes
it's on
to
your
the
land.
state.
I think
If it's on your
if it's
land.
cultural
Yeah,
important,
I think
something
it's,
you get something like 40 or 50% of it. They still get a part of it, but you don't get the whole thing.
All right, I'm sorry. I just like
Yeah.
I like to
Sorry,
learn
yeah.
shit.
yeah. And in this case, none of
I have
it
a feeling-
was
I can see you out back digging.
You know, when I was little, digging holes in my
Before
backyard
I
was my
start
favorite
digging
thing.
that hole, I want to know if I get to keep what I'm on. Look, it's a concubine.
Yeah.
I will absolutely, if I find a concubine in my backyard, you're the first person I'm calling.
Yes.
You better
No.
go.
We found a concubine.
So according, I just looked this up. According to the U.S. law, if you find any kind of artifacts on your land, it's yours.
Cool.
That's what I thought.
Hell
Nice.
yeah. Murder.
Yeah, this was not the case in
America.
China.
Merc.
Not in China. It was
Yes.
just like, thank you very much. Here's a case of sparklets. On your way.
Yeah. So they demolished their homes and started erecting gift shops and things.
Establishment.
And you got to think, these farmers, a lot of them couldn't read or write. So that was an issue too. They didn't know how to do anything else. And that's what made it a lot harder for them than some of the other people in the Chinese community that were benefiting greatly from all the tourism and, you know, all of the press and everything from finding this great archaeological find.
Imagine that. A culture where the little guy doesn't profit, but the people up top. get
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Kind of
I can't
culture.
imagine living in a place like that. Can you? It's just weird.
So out of the 7, and this is where it gets pretty sad. One of the farmers was diagnosed with acute heart disease a few years after the discovery. He hung himself so he wouldn't be a burden to his family because they couldn't afford to pay his medical bills.
Oh.
2 other farmers died of horribly painful ailments which were undiagnosed and untreated due to their poverty. They died penniless and jobless. And then the 4 others took work at museums and gift shops signing books for tourists, where they earned like a flat monthly rate. And since they couldn't read or write, they just had to learn to write their names. And one of them said it took him 10 days to learn how to write his name. And that's all he can write.
I'm sorry, you probably already did this. What was the original reason they were digging?
There was a drought and
They needed water.
yeah.
Water's in that hole.
Dig a
Okay.
well. Dig a well. Yes.
I got you. So they were well diggers. All right, I got you.
So they make a flat monthly rate, which keeps them in poverty, even though the tourist demand for the signed books and for meet and greets with the founders of the Terracotta Army is so high that they've hired imposters.
Kind of like the $7.25 minimum wage that we got here.
Yeah. Well,
or the $2.23 an hour that our waitresses make. I'm sorry.
yeah.
That's staying in.
Yep.
Yeah. So in several places throughout the area of Cheyenne, there are gift shops and things that have just employed like random people to say, yeah, I found the Terracotta Army. Let me sign your book. And it's well known amongst, the community and everything. But tourists, I mean, they don't know. They're like, if I walked up to somebody and they're like, I discovered the Terracotta Army, I would believe it probably. And,
Especially if it's a raggedy looking guy who can't read, that makes it even more believable, doesn't it? Or is that me being weird?
So, yeah, I mean.
I wouldn't expect somebody in a suit to greet me and go, yeah, I discovered the Terracotta
Yeah.
Army. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Would you like me to sign my name? Yes. Say to Jim? No, just my name.
So the farmers
you
that
say,
are still the farmers that
number
are
one
still
tourist?
alive
No,
wish
just my
that
name.
wish that they had never uncovered the Terracotta Army. But the Chinese government is still actually excavating the mausoleum. They haven't uncovered everything yet.
I know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible, but then it's also awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's still
Like,
stuff that they haven't even touched.
but then
And-
that makes me wonder what would happen here. What if they decided they needed to go smack dab in the middle of the Great Smoky Mountains, so they hire just whatever 35 people they find standing outside the unemployment office, and they find insert political figure, whatever the hell is here's bullshit. What happens then? Who
Like they find
does that go to? And would
Terracotta
our
arrows.
people, would the people who dug it up be treated the same? Like, would they just make their $7.25, send them home, tell them they had to pretend like they didn't see anything, or you know what I mean? Like, how would it work here?
Well, I kind of feel like they would get like credit for the discovery and press tours and all kinds of stuff because we love that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we
we're
love-
very consumerism
Yeah,
over here.
So I feel like there would be tons of recognition. The discovery would go to the landowner, but in this case, these people were also the landowners.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what makes it more shitty.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and that's why I
Yeah.
have questions. It's so weird how different
Yeah.
everybody is, but like we're all on the same shit here. Why are we not on the same?
What's the
page?
curse though? Is the curse?
Oh,
the curse
okay.
of
I'm sorry.
oppression-
I keep interrupting. So shit.
Well, no. Is it like the curse of oppression and disenfranchisement?
Well,
Or like-
it's just that the people, the 7 that found it, were like,
But is that a thing that was beforehand? Like, was there something to where it said whoever unearths these?
Well, they were originally just digging for water.
But yeah, I know. I mean, you can
But-
accidentally open Pandora's box.
So
and
their
stuff
lives
up.
were their lives were
What-
That's
what I'm-
another interesting thing,
What
though.
I'm getting at is they found something really interesting, and that could have taken them out of the poverty that they were in.
right.
And instead, the government came in and was like, "No, screw you. You can just stay poor. We're getting everything."
That's
So,
awful.
so most of them died, and a couple of them got to be poor people signing their name
Yeah.
and not profiting from.
Yeah, for $17 a month or
qualifies.
whatever. That's awful.
That qualifies as a curse for sure.
This is the worst. This is the worst podcast ever.
There,
I'm
some
bummed out.
people
I'm
say that it was found before, and nobody wanted to dig it up because as soon as they found it, they're like, "No, I ain't touching that." Because immediately when you start to dig up statues underground, there is the thought over there that it is part of some tomb or some.
Yeah, so you'd be desecrating someone's grave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there have been like journals and writings where it's like, we
So
were
they're
just-
cursed for doing it, even though they didn't do it intentionally.
Right.
They accidentally. Oh man. And well, like I said, I mean, when I was little, I tell you what, my fucking jam. You remember I used to just dig holes in the backyard? You remember? I just dug holes in the backyard. Do you remember?
Also, she was like the turtle whisperer. It was so weird. She'd be like,
Every morning I could go outside and catch a turtle.
she'd be like, "I'm gonna go out and get a turtle," and my mom and dad be like, "All right," and then she'd come back with a fucking turtle, and it was like, "What the fuck?"
We said turtles my whole life because I was like, I'm going to get a turtle.
The
But-
turtle whisperer.
Yeah.
But so if I had accidentally dug up something, I would then be cursed, even though I didn't do it for nefarious reasons. That's horseshit. I think curses should have like a terms and conditions or what, you know.
Also,
Yeah, you
they
should,
broke
you should
some
bleed
shit
from the
with it.
eyes or something.
Yeah.
But I did want to say this because this relates to my TikTok.
Oh, Kelly's pushing that TikTok. Y'all, we're trying to do it.
I'm
my,
in.
my TikTok is awful, and
No,
nobody,
it's amazing, honey.
nobody listens to my TikTok. But I've started this TikTok trivia thing, so I have to give the answer to the TikTok trivia.
Oh, you're doing the. Hold on a minute, because you're doing the answer now. Because I haven't even looked at the video to edit it yet.
Oh, it doesn't matter because nobody's gonna watch this.
But I have to post your TikTok before I post this.
No. No, anybody that messages me the right answer, whether they
Oh,
find
okay.
it on here
Y'all
or find
message
it on
Kelly,
Google,
Or they can message Drunk Theory, whatever. I check Twitter.
So my question on TikTok was about the toxic substance that is rumored to surround the tomb of Kim Shi Wong. So I'm about to talk about that. So nobody's excavated this tomb yet, and the reason that they haven't, or at least one of the reasons that they haven't, is that it's rumored to be booby trapped, but also it's rumored to be surrounded by like a river of toxic mercury. And they've actually done
Oh.
mercury readings on the area that are really high.
Like thermometer mercury.
Yes, yeah. And apparently mercury was a symbol of immortality, so they're thinking it might be real, but I don't know where they would have got like a whole fucking river of mercury.
Well, I mean, somebody got mercury from somewhere. They put
Yeah.
it in. I could buy 100,000 thermometers where I
And just
work.
crack that shit up.
So I mean, well, it comes from
Would you-
somewhere.
Yeah.
Mercury is real.
Well, I know it's real.
I'm working on my tomb. Could you get
Yeah.
You give me about 15 tons of mercury.
So apparently there is a lot of fucking mercury around
You
there,
work
or
on
at
the
least there is
mercury,
a
I'm gonna
rumor
look
that
for the
there
dead
is.
concubines.
So, like, you can mine for mercury just like you do for gold and,
Yeah.
and things like
Oh,
that.
hey, no shit. This has probably been like 10 years ago. I hope to God that it's still a thing because one day I'm going to be brave enough to leave my house. In North Carolina, there's a fucking mountain that you can go to and mine for dinosaur bones. Because
Really?
for whatever reason, they think there's dinosaur bones there. But I've seen like posts of people who found like dinosaur bones. And whatever you find, you get to keep. So,
That would be so much fun. Like,
right.
make
Because
a
I love
camp,
to dig.
all day dig, and then make
I
a
like to
camp.
dig.
And, make a camp and drink sparkly frou-frou drinks around the campfire.
Right?
I
We
don't-
could make a whole day of it, man. We could tailgate first and then go
That'd be
dig for
so
the
much
bones.
fun.
And we can compare our dinosaur bones at the end of the
I
day.
have a truck now, so we can tailgate.
We got a truck. We can tailgate to the dinosaur bones.
I don't want to dig anything.
I love to dig.
I'm getting there. It's a theme.
Bougie or something. Like, I don't want to dig.
She thinks she's too good to dig. Let me also tell
Oh.
you that We took this bitch geocaching one time.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what
that's
that
not.
is.
I didn't like that.
It's
So
like
dirty.
a thing. Geocaching. It's like a thing, and because I'm from, I'm like, yeah, go here, blah blah blah, whatever. She's like wearing stripper heels, and we're like, well, yeah, I mean, we gotta trek through the woods. She's like, the fuck you talking about? And it was like 95 degrees outside. And she's like, I'm not doing this. She just sat down like in some gravel, and she was like, I'll see y'all when y'all get back. So we did it without her. I'm pretty sure we didn't even find the one that we were looking for.
I don't know if you did or not, but I hate that shit. I don't want to go trekking through the woods. I don't like bugs. I don't like the outdoors.
I don't like
the
bugs
sun.
either, but I love bugs if there's a challenge. Like, I don't want to just go out and look at bugs, and some people do that. That's fucking weird. But I mean, hooray for you. But if it's,
Bugs.
hey, you can find this cool thing, probably gonna have to fight some spiders.
Fuck you.
I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Because there's a thing I need to find or whatever. Like, I like finding shit.
I'm like, can I order this cool thing on Amazon? Can I get this for myself?
You can't buy an experience on Amazon.
A terrible experience. though.
Joe Moe, tell her to go geocaching with us.
You got to go geocaching, and you've got to wear the most inappropriate clothing you can.
Exactly,
Because you
stripper
know
heels
what?
or whatever.
No matter what happens to you, it's fucking worth the story. Remember that?
I might be willing to do it for the podcast.
I fell
the
down a
show.
well. I fell down a
Do it
well. I
live.
broke both my heels, but I found terracotta hookers.
Found a pill bottle with a sticker from 1987.
I kind of feel like we should like loop in basic bitches or something. And, like,
Oh
let them
man.
broadcast it on their show, like me, like tottering in my heels.
I have a question. Where did you get that drink? Did you just pour it just now? Because I stole yours.
I know, I saw
Okay.
you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got anything else from Terracotta Army?
No.
Anybody else got anything for haunted objects?
I don't have anything because
How
I didn't
did
do any research.
What about Post Malone and the Debit?
I didn't do any research.
That was a really atmospheric and fun one. Both of those were really good. The chair, because it exists, we know where we could go see it, and these Terracotta Warriors. It's pretty cool.
I would love to see them. I think they're so
Me
neat.
too.
doesn't
I would
fit.
I would
I
spend the
don't
whole.
know. I can't see that. I don't have my glasses on. So just real quick, I'm gonna put it in there. And actually I did kind of research it after you sent it to me, and there is nothing. There's nothing to research. But I put it on our picture for our Twitter or Instagram. Apparently Post Malone went to some fucking museum that has fucking haunted shit.
Hey, no, stop with the Ghost Adventures guy.
Yeah, he went. Okay, so he went
What-
somewhere with the Ghost Adventures guy, and Post Malone touched the guy that was touching the debit box, and now they think Post Malone has been
Cursed by
cursed
the Debit.
by the debit box. I
Right.
didn't know what a debit box was. I know that you can buy them on Etsy. I do not recommend.
It didn't like that.
What do they think that? Well, I mean, how is the curse manifesting?
Do you know what a debit box is?
Yeah, I've seen. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
they think that since the ghost hunter was opening it, and I guess Post Malone was just like standing here, like chilling, that the ghost came out of the debit box and went into Post Malone. And then
Oh.
apparently some fucked up shit happened to Post Malone, like right after that. I
Like,
don't
his
follow
tires were
Post,
flat.
I don't follow Post Malone. I don't know what's going on in this guy's life, but for
I hear
whatever
he got
reason,
gibbeted.
it was.
I hear he got gibbeted.
Yeah.
Gibbeted.
man.
Gibbeted.
I would hold on, real talk. If they brought that back, would y'all buy tickets? Because I fucking would. If
You
you,
should not. You should stop it right now.
no, I'm not stopping. I'm saying for real
Gibbeting?
because it used to be a thing.
You mean
Unless you
gibbeting?
Watch public beheadings and
Would
No.
you go?
I
No.
think for me it would depend on
Who it was
on
and
who
what
it
they were
was,
doing.
on what they
Yeah.
they had done.
I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
just make a Sunday afternoon of it. Like, but if it was, like
If
I said,
I went,
if they
if I went, it
gibbeted
would be
Jeffrey Dahmer, would y'all have gone?
being applied to me
yes.
if I could.
Fuck yeah.
I wouldn't go unless they made me and I was the one being gibbeted. That's the
Oh.
only.
Oh, well,
Understand.
I wouldn't go to your gibbeting. Is that what
Oh,
you would
that's
call
so
it?
nice of you.
We would not like to see you gibbet it.
We would have a fucking
We would protest your gibbet it.
de-gibbet party.
we'd
And
have a
protest.
D
And
gibbet
protest.
party here.
Turn out the power
Give it
up so
party.
they couldn't do it however it worked.
I would go to Party City and get them like helium balloons in the shape of you.
Oh, I would like that. As my
And I
eyes
kind
roll
of want a
down my
pinata,
head.
but then that defeats the purpose because you beat it. But except for pinatas are awesome. Is it okay if I do a pinata of you?
We'll do a
Oh.
pinata.
In
No,
full
no, no.
respect.
What happens
Like,
is that when you break it open, it's a bunch of tiny little good versions of him that aren't messed up.
and they're full of
Oh,
liquor.
Yes.
So good.
Little Joe Moe liquor things.
Oh, I would love that. People could just have, yeah, that would be a party.
We'll do that.
If you
Well,
ever get given it.
so
And the
I just
same
wanna
for me.
make
If I get given it, y'all, I'm pinata full of carrot liquor.
Yes. I am flying Joe Moe in for your gibbeting.
Yes,
And
I would speak up for you too.
first class.
We need more diggers. Please spare her. We need diggers.
Oh my God. And y'all know one of my earliest memories. I remember being at Daddy's mama's house, crazy grandma,
yeah.
sucking dirt up the restaurant for no reason.
Garlic?
I can't be the only one who did that.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's just you.
You were
Nobody
sucking
did that.
garlic through a straw?
Dirt, no dirt.
Oh, dirt.
Outside,
Oh,
I just took a straw outside and just sucked dirt up. You didn't do that?
Mud pies are not real.
This was not mud pies. This
I'd
was
like
this
to-
was bougie
I'd like
mud
to,
pies.
I'd like to stand in solidarity with you, but I know I did not eat dirt.
Well, I didn't eat it either. I sucked it up through a straw, and that made me popular.
Oh, well, that's a smoothie. I would do that.
Okay. A dirt smoothie. Do y'all remember making soup? Did y'all hang out with y'all's friends and just like pull grass and flowers
Dude,
and
it's
put them?
time to stop. Wow.
I wish I had
Dirt and
friends.
grass soup.
You didn't do
You
that?
had friends that ate that?
No, we didn't eat it.
No, we just
Played
pretended
with
to
each other
cook.
Oh, well,
outside.
Well, you made it seem like you sucked up the dirt. Don't act like
Yeah,
I
I mean,
sucked up the dirt.
I was
I'm
thinking
crazy
the same
over
thing.
when you
It's
ate
like,
the other
I
part
was-
when you sucked up the first part.
Yes.
I'm not the
I mean,
crazy
I was right there with you. It's like I was sucking dirt through a straw and I made grass soup, but I'd never eat grass soup. What the fuck not?
You jump from one subject to the other without
I
a
don't get
reference
where
point.
they're at, but I was
But
with you
if you
because
were
I
just- if you
understand.
were-
Where's
wait,
that
hold
thing
on.
here?
If you were just making dirt pies or mud pies and you added grass to it, that means you were fucking
A chef.
yeah, you were a chef. You were spicing it up.
Master chef
You
in the
knew how to
making
do it.
over here.
She knew how to do
Let
it.
me tell you what though, son. We live in the same house, so if you need me to edit something out, you say it later. Don't make me look like a dick on fucking live stream. Just be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't talk like you eat dirt. I go, okay,
I
maybe
hope
I'll
you're
cut
writing-
that part out.
When you're starting your autobiography.
I didn't know
I
this
hope
was
you're
a live
writing it.
stream until she just
It's
told
not
me.
live stream.
It's not. We're not streaming. But also, Joe is not a stranger. Joe has known us.
We
for
know
years.
Joe. How do we meet Joe?
Let's talk about how we met Joe.
Hold on, no, wait a minute. We're going ahead. Does anybody else have anything regarding objects?
No.
Well, then, what the hell y'all back here bitching about?
Yes.
They're of no use whatsoever.
And I had one, I just didn't want to go too long on my thing.
We can go for
I
it.
didn't do
How'd we meet Joe Moe?
We met Joe Moe at Mad Monster
That's
because
right.
we were all convention people.
That's
We're
right.
nerds.
We're the biggest nerds ever.
You know, people, dear audience, there was a time when we could all gather in big groups in events
Years ago.
together. And there was these things called hugs where we'd sort of put our arms around each other and give a little squeeze. Very
I am
innocent.
hugging Joe Moe right now.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a
Once
time.
upon a time, dear.
Did
dear-
you go to Mad Monster this past year? I know
did.
they
I'm
had
not-
it.
I'm not at Mad Monster anymore.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know if maybe you just went.
Well, I'm going to try to do what I did at Mad Monster at Days of the Dead. Just kind of make sure the community stays together. Now I got 6 shows to do it.
And
Yeah,
you'll be
awesome.
amazing at it. I know you will because
I just love, you know me, I'm fan first. I love all this shit, and
Yeah,
and
of
it's just
course.
like my favorite thing is like when you meet somebody that's hiding behind a pillar and I'm like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm a big Bill Moseley fan. I said, well, have you spoken to? No, I'm really shy. I said, take my arm, and just yank him over and say, this is Bill Moseley. He's my friend. The next day they're like, look, I got a tattoo of his autograph on my. And these are people you see the next year over and over again.
over and over again.
Finds their family, and that's the whole.
And you had mentioned that earlier, you know, that the horror community is amazing. And they actually are, which is super weird to me because obviously not our,
really.
hold on. Obviously not our parents because our parents were into horror, but a lot of people are like, horror's bad. And
But when you know you
but
watch,
we're
when
like,
you
why?
watch,
Because
when
these
you watch a
people are
horror
the
movie,
coolest people.
most horror movies have such a low budget and shit. They're doing it for the love of it. You know,
Yeah,
they
that's right.
like to do it, and that's
Exactly.
why it's so fun. And I
Well,
will
you
say,
know-
our first Mad Monster party, everybody from the original Fright Night stayed around and did karaoke.
At the
Yep.
bar,
And
that
that
shit
right
was
there, that was our second year we had went.
well, I went one year
Yeah,
by myself.
she went
I
by
went
herself,
completely alone.
Then the two of us, and then our second year together, Kelly went with us, and
Yes.
and they did the karaoke, and it was just.
We took my daughter. My daughter
I
did
really didn't
good.
expect real people to hang out and do karaoke.
Well,
I
you
figured
know-
they'd be there 5 minutes and leave. They
When
were
you
there
meet
for
the-
an hour doing karaoke and having fun and just.
Yeah, they're like they're fans too. And when you
Exactly,
Yeah.
they
when you
were.
make
They
it
acted
safe-
more like fans almost than I
Yeah,
did.
yeah. When you make it safe for them and they
Yeah.
you know the fans at Mad Monster were so warm to everybody and respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Englund, who never comes downstairs, he would come out and he'd sit in the dining room and he knew he wasn't getting hassled, and if people came up to him, he was happy to see them. Doug Bradley, I've never seen Doug Bradley smile so much.
Oh, we met him, and he
Yes.
was a fucking delight.
He talked to me for a while. He signed my puzzle box. He had his wife go get him a glass of wine.
Yeah, he was drinking wine
Yeah,
the whole
because
time.
he was out and we wanted to talk for a few minutes and nobody else was waiting in line, and we talked about Hellraiser and some of the other movies he had done, and
Yep.
just it was amazing.
I don't
because
understand why horror gets
I love Doug
such a
Bradley as an
bad
actor,
rap.
and I love fucking Clive Barker as a writer. Just not just Hellraiser. I love like his Scarlet Gospels.
Yep.
Arabat. I love fucking The Great and Secret Show. All of his has been amazing. I've read I Magica like 20 times.
Yeah.
Just meeting Doug Bradley was amazing.
I
Well,
thought
all
you
of
said
us-
sip,
all
take
of us
another
did
one.
that. You know, all of us did that, and we made special events that would like I remember we had a drinking game once where we had, I don't know who the cast was. Was it one of the casts who got up on stage and read their parts, and every
Was
time
that not Fright
Fright
Night?
Night. I think it's
was
Fright
that
Night.
Fright Night?
I think
And every
it
time they
was
said
Fright
we had a drinking game, every time they said a certain word, people
Yeah,
were
because
Yes,
I was
yes.
there for
Night.
that.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all
so we
remember?
were trying to design shit that would make people participate.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the wedding that was there, the very first
Yes.
wedding. That
Well,
was
he knows. That was
well, yeah,
Kelly's
that was
wedding.
hers, of course. So yeah.
With Sid, yeah.
Hers like I'm not in the room too.
Well, no, I mean,
Hey, right,
I mean,
and this guy.
It,
know,
it was just my wedding. I
well,
married
it's 'cause
myself.
she was just talking, really. Yeah.
She married herself.
Yeah. No, I
That's
married
so
this
great.
wonderful man back here. With
Good
Sid.
choice. Good choice. And that was a Sid.
That
That was
was-
a Sid. I
It
think
was.
that's
It was super fun. They were super good to us the whole time.
wasn't it like one of two
Sid
or
was
three.
great.
Oh yeah.
Sid
Sid
did.
Haig hung out after the wedding and was back with us in our own. They gave us our own little personal room.
Yeah, I got pictures of him
He
eating
stayed
cake
for
with us.
45 minutes, had cake, talked, and just had a great time in costume. So I know he was uncomfortable and still was there the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
he was amazing.
He didn't make you drink his disgusting gumball drink, did he? Did
Is
He
you?
that-
did the night before. Yes, he
Exactly.
made I thought it was great. I got so drunk.
But we were drunk beforehand. You
That
remember?
was the night. Yeah, she was
We
already.
were already drunk, so
Yeah.
I didn't really taste it.
I know he was making the drinks, but I went to bed early because I wanted to like not look shitty as a bride.
He mixed up
They
a
hung
bunch of
over for a wedding.
he
But
mixed up
they
a bunch of his
stayed.
Armenian spices for like seasoning stuff.
Oh,
And it smelled like BO. It was really gross. But his whole thing was, I
We
made
were
this-
already so drunk. I
Yeah.
remember we had already seen like fire eaters and shit by the
Yeah.
time we
Yeah.
got over
Yeah.
there. You remember?
Yeah. I
I was so
remember
drunk.
the fire. I think that's about when I went to bed. I saw the fire eater, and then I think we. went
And
to
then
bed.
we heard somebody hollering about Sid Haig's drink, and we're like, "Holy shit, y'all!" And then we went over there, and I remember, was it me and you or me and you went up to him and was like, "Hey."
No, I think we both went.
I almost say it's all four of us.
It might have been all of
That
us,
was
and we were
still
like,
early.
"Hey, this is the
Behind the
wedding
bar,
for
right?
tomorrow," so he just gave us all the drinks.
Well, I don't remember having the drink though.
Maybe
I
you
was
did, maybe you were
sick.
gone, and it was just us three, or maybe
I
was
think
just
it
me
was
and
just.
you.
I think it was just you and me, and they
I
had
don't
been
did his
there.
job. He blitzed you. He did his job.
He did. It was super fun though, but I love the horror community. You know who else I fucking love? The goddamn podcast community.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot about the podcast community.
I'm gonna
There's
shout them out right
Royal-
quick
You should have
because
a podcast.
let me tell you what,
We're having one. It's fun.
they have
you
been
should have
nothing
that
but
competition.
supportive. Even other which there's a lot of true crime and there's a lot of sports and there's not a whole lot of conspiracy, but there are other conspiracies. But everybody is super supportive. They're like, I'll share your shit. I'll send you stickers. Like, I mean, everybody is amazing. So shout out to just the fucking podcast people in general. It's the best. But there's a special place in heaven for us.
Is there a special name?
I mean, because we went in just assuming we were going to be on our own.
Do we get to go to heaven with all of our awards?
Yeah, we won 2 awards.
We are an award-winning
Congratulations.
podcast here.
Hard to win an award for anything unless you give it to yourself. That's great. That's freaking great.
I love it, man. I mean, it's just.
I can see why people love it. It's just total free for all.
And it's so fun. And we have met so many cool people. Like, I mean, I just can't even, because if I leave my house, like if I go to Walmart, I don't meet any cool people. I meet 500 assholes, and then I want to kill myself by the time I get home. But like if I go on Twitter and I'm
We managed to find like the few
there's like a
30% of
whole
people that aren't assholes.
yeah, and they're like, yeah, we're buddies, and I'm like, yeah,
Do they have
are.
do they have Walmart in UK?
Huh?
Do they have Walmart in UK?
I don't know. Is Walmart?
I bet you they don't. I bet everybody. I bet all your British listeners are like,
I'm
Walmart.
gonna have to ask
They're
them.
like, what is Walmart?
see
There's
pictures
some
of
walls
those
there.
Oh yes, they
They
go
have,
with
like,
halter
Tesco
tops
and
and
shit
leggings.
or something.
We have the same thing.
I have Tesco.
It's
I thought
yeah,
Tesco was
Tesco.
like our Costco
Oh, could be. I don't know.
or like our
I
7-Eleven.
don't
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Tesco's like
the
7-Eleven there.
We're just gonna have to set up a call
Walmart-
with one of our
Walmart
UK
is in
people
the
like
UK.
Player Pods. or
Walmart
something.
is it
There is
still
Walmart.
called Walmart?
Yeah.
Sweet. There's Walmart in the UK, you guys.
Oh wow! So where do
I
you
wonder
guys
if there's
buy
ghetto
your,
as art.
leopard leggings and your?
Let me tell you what, they sell the weirdest shit at Walmart. One year I wanted to buy him one of those fucking masks, for when you sleep, just to cut out the lights or whatever.
Yeah, he has.
All I could find was like super puffy tie-dyed glitter raccoon eyes. Or it had a horn where it made you look like a fucking unicorn. And I'm like, I just need a regular sleep mask. Where are the regular sleep masks? There were none at my local Walmart. It was you're a unicorn or a glittery raccoon, and that's all you get.
Oh my goodness.
But since they don't have any research, I know you said you had one more you wanted to do for us.
I have something that you guys will be interested in, I think, because it's personal, but it has a little history. So basically, I talked to you about Forrest J. Ackerman, who created Famous Monsters of Filmland with James Warren, his publisher. This old guy here, I miss him, but
Yes.
He sort of started it all for us. But when Forey passed away about 12 years ago, we did a big tribute for him at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard. And at the Egyptian Theater, we had a tribute, and all kinds of people showed up who you would have loved to meet. I wish you guys could have been there. It was like 75% fans and then some celebrities. And so Rick Baker spoke, and Guillermo del Toro, John Landis, everybody was there.
Oh,
And because we all loved him so much, and he inspired us to do the things we still pursue to this day. And so that was a very successful night. And I went to sleep that night, and I had a dream. And my dream was that Forey Ackerman came into the room, and he said, "Hello, pal." And I said, "Forey," he said, "seen any good events lately?" And I went, "Oh my God, the tribute, did you like it?" He says, "Well, the ninth wonder of the world," because that would have been, Forey would have said that because King Kong would have been one of the wonders of the world, right? And I said, "Forey, I'm so happy you liked it." And I went to sleep, and about 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard clunk. And I got up, and in my I have a little sort of wall shelf that has these pockets in it. And in one of those pockets is this picture of Forey, which was the last picture he ever gave to me, which he signed. And, it was meant a lot to me because he says, my best buddy. So I was proud to say that I was Forey's last and best friend. But
Aw.
it used to sit on this plate, which I'd always put out for him at Thanksgiving. That was his special plate at the head of the table when we'd have about 12 guests or whatever. "You are special today." That's his Thanksgiving plate. So the picture had fallen down after sitting there it had fallen down. So I had a friend named Paul Davids. He's a filmmaker. Long story short, he's done tons of stuff. He did the original Transformers cartoon. He wrote that, and he's been a producer and made a lot of movies. And Paul called me that day, and he said, I had the weirdest experience. I said, what is it, Paul? He said, well, I was doing my taxes, and I went to the bathroom, and when I came out, I was looking at my taxes, and there was a black line of ink or some kind of liquid over one line. And I went, where did that come from? And I looked to see if something was leaking, and it wasn't. And I couldn't figure it out. It looked like ink, but not ink, but it was wet. And I looked at it, and it said, spoke to Joe Moe, who was a lawyer that did his taxes. I said, that's really weird, Paul. And then I told him my story, and he went, oh my God, he's telling me that he spoke to Joe Moe. And I was like, what are you talking about? Yes, I mean, and he chained it all together. And from that evolved into a whole project, a documentary project and a book called The Life After Death Project, which is all about that event. And then Paul trying to prove through seances and through all kinds of other things that there's life after death. So this event that happened, no matter how you want to look at it, snowballed into something that if you go on Amazon and look up the Life After Death Project, you'll see a book and a DVD with Forey's picture on it.
Oh, holy shit.
Is there an audio book, just by the way?
What's
Well,
that?
you don't have to do audiobooks now.
But I was just wondering because I have audio.
It might be by now, but
I was going to say check. I was just wondering because I like audiobooks too for our listeners too. You never know. Some people don't like to read.
Right. And the DVD
trying to
does
help
that.
them.
I mean, DVD is like a DVD of the whole story where he talks to
Oh, I can
like
just read it.
forensic
That's so
scientists,
neat.
people, and he did a TED talk, I think, on it. And so there's my personal relationship to what you may or may not think.
Well, then let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How can you have that story and still call yourself a skeptic?
Well, because because I can't trace it back to anything that I can conclusively say is like a supernatural phenomenon. I like.
You don't
to
think it's
about
so
it.
you're more coincidence guy that you had the
Yeah.
dream.
It's kind of coincidence, because my way of thinking was when I woke up, I thought, well, maybe I just woke up to something and it was laying down already. Who knows how long it was? You know what I mean? I had all of these questions in my mind because I've had some ghostly kind of like experiences when I was a kid, but I attribute some of them to hallucination. I can tell you a quick ghost story if you want to hear it.
Do it. Yes,
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
I was about 16 years old and I'd gone to sleep because it was a school night. And the house we lived in was a 2-story house in Hawaii in a place called Kailua, which was about a block from the beach. And I was asleep in my room. I was 16 and I knew my mom was out in the living room on the second floor watching TV. And I was asleep and I don't know how long I was asleep. I opened my eyes and I looked straight above me and it looked like if somebody took graduated books like 1, 2, 3 and put them in a stack and then had put what you guys might consider burlap, but for me I knew it was like coconut husk from the tree, which looks like burlap, and it looked like it was tied up and it was just sort of turning this way above me and then turning that way above me. I was like in a dream state still, so I was still half asleep. And so I thought, my brothers pranked me and I thought, how did they get that up there without me being woken up? And so I pushed myself up in the bed and I looked and I realized there was nothing holding it there. And at that point, I was almost in full awake mode and I gasped and I turned. And as I turned, there was a boy my age with brown face, just like with these big eyes, just staring straight in my face about 8 inches from my face. And I went, I gasped again. I couldn't make any sound. And he turned around and he was totally naked, walked into my closet, which was about 6 feet away from me, and went in the closet. And I got up and I ran out of the room. And my mother, I said, Mom, and she was laughing because I'm buck naked. She's laughing. I said, no, there's somebody in my room. And she came in and we looked and there was nothing there. So it was like a moment between sleep and awake.
And still all of that,
Actually,
you call yourself a skeptic.
Now this is my personal theory. I don't think you were technically asleep or awake. You were at the point in between where you can see things where like if you take acid or shrooms and you get beyond the point of our understanding, just like there's certain shrimp that can see more colors that we can.
Oh,
You
that
don't-
one that
like,
punches the
yeah,
glass.
yeah, like you don't think there's got to be other creatures that can see more dimensions than we can. What you
Right.
saw is what I considered the physical manifestation for us to understand it of the universe. It kind of looks like a revolving
Mhm.
infinite bookshelf or of infinite pages that if you say, a lot of people say if you die you automatically go to an alternate universe that's the closest to where you've been. That's why people have weird out-of-body experiences, or say they thought they were in a wreck and died and came right back up because they woke up in a hospital. It's because that's what most people think the universe is represented when we see it, for our brain to understand it. And
That's an
I've
interesting part of awareness.
I've been there. When I was 17, I saw the same thing. Only one time I took way too much acid, but I've been there.
Just
and
one
it's-
time.
Well, no,
One time I
it's the
took-
One
same.
time I took way too much acid and I figured out.
The exact same description has been described by thousands of people who either
Matt probably wants some
took
too.
too much acid or have shroom tripped too much. They see the same thing.
I can make more.
They
I can
say
make
it's
more
a
if you need
spinning
it.
book or a
Oh,
spinning
that's my full thing.
revolving,
But it's on.
basically like a revolving page of life of each one, millions of lives you could have, because there's all happening at the same time.
Okay,
And I
so
think that's what you saw.
I have a question for you then. All of these things that you've taught us just so far on just this one thing, and you're like, oh, it's coincidence, or blah blah blah, whatever. What would it take? What would you have to see to where you were like, oh, okay, yeah, that's it. That's
If I had the experience my brother Danny had, my brother Danny is an ex-military guy, an ex-army man, diametrically opposed to me in a lot of ways. We're the same kind of spirit, but he's like hard, and he's a completely, in a different.
He's like the GI Joe of Joe Moe.
And when he got out of the military,
Giamma.
He's the GI Moe.
when he got out of the military, he went to work as security in my mom's hospital. My mom ran a hospital called St. Francis. She was a medical professional. She was.
We have St. Francis down here.
Yeah, and so Danny went to be a security guard. He decided to try security. His first day of work, if I had been him and seen this and it played out the way he said, I would believe it. And this is haunted object too. We would get into that. He's working there and he goes to the grizzled old security head named Kimo. And in Hawaii, they talk like this, they talk pidgin English, kind of broken English, talk like that. The perpetrator was going. So Danny goes up and he says, so what am I supposed to do? He says, okay, Danny, brother, you're going to patrol the whole hospital, and then you're going to walk over there and just going to look at all the rooms, walk through. Don't go downstairs to the basement. So my brother's like, oh, okay. My brother's like, I'm going to the basement. So he immediately, walks around, does a round, goes to the basement with his newspaper. He's going to look at the newspaper. Goes to the bottom floor, it opens up. There's a hallway of doors, just like an old, unused hospital ward, multiple doors, and a door at the far end. So he's walking down, looking indoors, and what he's finding is old medical equipment, old bed frames, right? Old sheets, old this. And he looks down at the bottom, and the door is ajar, and he sees there's a light on this lazy boy recliner. And he's like, that's for me. So he goes to the end. He opens the door and he sits back, and immediately he feels this anvil of pressure on his chest. In Hawaii, they're known as choking ghosts. They exert a great amount of pressure on your chest so that you have trouble breathing. And he said he was petrified. Now, this is my army man brother. He said he was petrified. Nothing could move but his eyes. And he realized his eyes are just spinning in his head looking for a way out. That's all that he could move. And he doesn't know how long he was held down, but at the point that it let up, he was pushing so hard, he hit the ground running 6 feet away from the chair. And he went to the elevator and he pounded on it, and he looked back over his shoulder, and that chair was going bam, 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 bam. And the door opened and he ran in, and he slammed the button and it closed, and he went upstairs and he went out and he tried to act like nothing happened, and Kimo saw him and he said, you went to the basement, didn't you? Said, yeah. He said, you're not supposed to go there. It's a romantic, it's a lady ghost. She's always trying to seduce everybody. Don't go down there anymore. My brother was like, okay. But my brother, being my brother's like, after an hour of coming, I said, I'm going back down there. So, you know,
That would have been me too. So I would
he
have
goes
done
back
the
to
same
the
thing.
elevator. He goes back to the elevator. Same routine. Goes down. He looks. There's the chair, and he's like scared, but he's gonna tough it out. And he walks down, and he sees something sparkling on the chair, and he looks at it, and it's a diamond stud earring in the middle of the chair. And he said he just put it on and walked out. And when he went upstairs again, the guy said, Daniel, you can't wear any jewelry on the floor. You gotta. So for 3 months to the day, he took it off every time he came to work and put it in his locker. And on the anniversary, the 3-month anniversary of the time that he'd found it, he went to his locker, and when he went to go home, it was gone. So that's his story. He has lots of them. That's the one that when he tells it, he gets tears in his eyes. So I know he means it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
that's
yet
his
still you call yourself a skeptic.
well, that's my brother, you know. My brother, I mean, you know, that's Danny.
Yeah.
You know, he could have been, you know, who knows?
Well, going back to you calling yourself a skeptic, do you prefer not believing and not knowing, or do you want to see something and you just haven't yet?
Would you rather be oblivious?
Yeah.
No, I want to know. I'm
Okay.
always, you know me, I'm like.
So you want it to happen for you. It just
I will
hasn't
walk
happened
in.
in a way that you can call it for you to where you can specifically.
Yeah, I want to research it. I want to move towards it. I want to look at it. I want to examine it. I want to try it out.
Because some people, are just like, no, that's voodoo shit or whatever, and then they're like, don't
I
talk
hope
to
it
me
is.
with
I
that
hope
shit.
it is. If it's voodoo shit, I'm there. I mean,
Well,
I want to check it out. I want to check it out.
We did an episode.
but you're open to it if it were to happen. You just don't feel like it's happening for
Absolutely.
you yet.
And I'll chase it too. I'll go and look at it. If somebody says there's
There
a
you
haunted
go.
house, we're gonna try to spend the night, I will. If somebody says it's gonna spooky stuff's gonna happen, I will.
No,
But when
I
you
want to
tell
go to
me-
Chernobyl. You want to go to Chernobyl with me?
I'm there. But when you tell me,
Right?
do you want to sit in the death chair? Do you want to sit in the
I would
death
not
ass
sit in
chair?
the death
That
chair,
I don't
but I would
wanna
go to
do.
Chernobyl. I don't know what that says about me as a person.
You see,
That's not
I
how
would
I
be
wanna
more
find out.
likely to sit in the death chair than to go to Chernobyl.
Really?
I wouldn't want to end my status as a skeptic by dying from putting my ass in a chair. I don't want to do
Yeah,
that. But
for
I want
real,
to
right?
go check
Make
it out.
I tripped and hit my head on the chair. God damn it. That's terrible, yeah.
I feel like we're close enough to death to where anything Chernobyl can give us, we'll die before it hits anyway.
You're probably
Right? If you get kids
That's how it
from
begins.
Chernobyl, it's gonna be 40 years before you die from it, and we're already in our
My whole
40s.
thing with Chernobyl is apparently there's like just a whole bunch of like puppies and shit running around.
Oh, there's crazy wolves.
And you can't take them home with you, and then I just be like sad that I can't take the puppies home with me. And
I'm there. I'm at
I want the
Chernobyl.
puppy that glows.
Nah, glowing puppies.
yeah, nobody's.
I want to
taking
go
care
to
of
I
the
want to go
puppies.
to the haunted theme parks. I mean, isn't that has it all, right? You go to an
Right.
abandoned haunted.
Well,
theme.
I was super excited about the
North
Wizard
Carolina.
of Oz
Yeah, tell them
one.
about them. Yeah, there's one
Except
near
for
us.
now, they open it for weddings and shit. So that's
That's
not fun.
stupid.
That's just breaking and entering.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Hey, that's fun for some of us.
years it was there, and they said nobody can, like, my car won't get there. You have to have like super 4-wheel drive because it's up a super steep mountain or whatever. But I was like, fuck it, I'll pay somebody on fucking Craigslist to drive me up there. That'd be fine. But then they started opening it every spring for weddings, and so now there's no fun there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
What's the
bring
most
it
haunted place?
where Brittany got married last year? I mean,
What's the most haunted place you know of that you'd like to go?
what's that goddamn place that Jeannie talks about all the time? The insane asylum, where you can. My aunt Jeannie,
been
which
to
we
so
talk about
many.
her on this show a lot, but there is an insane asylum. But they do like overnight stays, but it's pretty much just like some dude meets you at the door and goes, "Hey, sign this waiver because you might die," and then they leave you to it. They're just like, "Whatever, here you go."
That sounds
Is it Waverly Hills? Is that a thing?
well. If it isn't, it should be.
Matt's saying it.
Waverly Hills. Welcome to Waverly Hills.
I want to say it's Waverly Hills, but
There.
Jeannie has talked forever about doing the overnight stay there.
Where is
which
it?
I'd love to do.
Where is it?
We have in Greenville. There is where it used to be the old tuberculosis hospital. It's supposedly haunted, but we've
That's
been
not what
there.
it's called, right?
The old tuberculosis.
Go
No,
tuberculosis.
now it's called Herd Plot Park.
Welcome.
But it was the old tuberculosis hospital, and supposedly it's haunted, but everything is gone now except for the brick wall with the name of it. And then if you walk far enough back, you can get to where you can tell. Okay, yeah, there used to be a building here, but I mean everything is gone. But you can tell just because it drops down, and there might be like some concrete blocks right here, so you can go, okay, yeah, this is where it used to be. But everything is gone. But they say that it's haunted. We were only there during the day though. We took my daughter there because it's a park now. Like you can play frisbee golf there. That's what we were doing.
What do you think is your best ghost story movie?
My
What are
place
some of your favorite ghost story movies?
Oh, I've heard about the Charleston jail too.
I mean, that's where they housed Lavinia Fisher, the first U.S. serial killer. There was a female.
Oh, that would be cool to explore.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to do the hologram Jack the Ripper tour in fucking London.
But I'm
Hologram? They have what? Holograms of the.
Yeah, apparently, I guess it's an app you download on your phone, but you pay for the thing. And so it's kind of like we did a thing earlier. They called it the Greenville Ripper. But it's like we were supposedly hunting for like a copycat of Jack the Ripper in Greenville downtown. But it's like there's an app, and you know, tell you where to go, and then there'd be like a virtual witness you had to talk to or whatever. I think the holographic Jack the Ripper is the same, except for somehow when you get there, a hologram shows up.
That's the neatest shit
Oh.
ever.
It's just
And
like
so
when they
instead
have-
of you reading, this is what happened right here, you see a
it's like when
holographic.
they have old buildings where you can hold up your phone and it shows you what it used to look like.
It shows you a
that's so
holographic
Smart.
of the crime, and then you're
That's
like
so
figuring out what's
smart.
wrong with this shit. You know, we're like,
I want to see that.
right? I would pay. I mean, if I had it, like so many dollars.
Yes, so many dollars.
I'd pay so many dollars to do that.
Unlimited dollars.
Unlimited if I had them. You know?
Maybe your,
Hey,
maybe your
sign
fan
up for
base,
our Patreon.
maybe your fan base will bring you over.
Right?
Just hear you
We will
talk
live
funny.
stream the holographic fucking.
Just to hear
That's
y'all talk
Are,
funny.
are you K people and all that?
Right? Y'all come on. We will do it. Y'all
Y'all come
hook
talk
us up
to
with
the
a cheap
Ripper.
Airbnb when we get there.
Speak
stay
to a
at your mom's
Southern girl
house.
to the Ripper hologram.
I mean, it sounds amazing to me. I would love to do it, and even minus the And I've seen this. Who's the guys? Who's the guys that we watched? The Busby Unsolved or whatever. They did a Jack the Ripper thing to where they went to the, and everything is different now, you know, because that was so long ago. Like they've built around, you know. So like, well, if I'm standing right here back then, and then they'll show you the crime scene, they're like, well, this was a field where she was. So apparently, if you're playing the game, the holographic game, when you bring it up, it will show you to where, yeah, I'm standing on concrete, but when they found the body, this was filled. And this is
Oh,
where
that's
she
so
was.
cool.
Ron, I would pay so many dollars to fucking do that.
I love that.
It's
people are
amazing.
as obsessed as we are. It
I guess
makes for
we're-
some great stuff.
Yeah, we're weirdos, I guess.
Yes.
But we're the best
Really?
weirdos.
You
We've
don't
got good,
say.
We're nice people.
we're nice fucking, we've got good hearts. We just like
Hey, we're
blood
also nice
and
people.
shit.
Well,
Hey, have you looked into getting your head frozen like Disney did?
you know, I haven't. Not yet. I'm from
I
Hawaii.
mean-
I'm not used to the cold.
I also have not looked into that.
No.
I want to be concrete, and you know they can put you in concrete and pour you and help rebuild the coral reefs. That's what I want.
They can
That
put
would
your
be
DNA in trees too, which is
Yeah,
kind of
I know
an
they can do
interesting
trees.
idea.
They can do like mushrooms and
They can
stuff.
put you into jewelry. Or it's like,
I want to do the
Really?
coral reefs, and I can't even swim. I'm scared as shit of water. But for
I don't
whatever
like water. I
reason,
don't want you to put me in the water.
for whatever reason, I want to help rebuild the coral reefs. I think
Yeah.
that's a
Don't
important
put me.
thing.
Don't put me in the water.
Why are you afraid of the water?
Make
Before-
jewelry out of me and put me in your ear.
Neither one of us know how to swim.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do not
But I
like.
figure if I'm dead, I don't have to know how to swim, right? They'll just put me where I need to be.
I don't like water at all. And I am one of the people who is in absolute agreement that Jaws is the scariest movie ever. And the
I love
reason
the movie.
I think that is because if you're looking at movies like, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street and,
Nightmare on
you
Elm
know,
Street.
Friday the 13th and things like that, like, you still went to sleep after you saw Nightmare on Elm Street.
Did
And-
Jaws keep you awake?
No, but it kept me out of the water.
Oh yeah.
On the toilet for a week.
Like, people still went camping out of Friday the 13th. People did not go in the fucking water after Jaws.
true.
And that's why I think that is.
We're about to have to end this, but I have a question. Scariest horror movie you've ever seen? That scared you like in a real sense to where like now you're not doing that.
The Exorcist. I was 14. I saw it in the theater, and my mom only took me because she thought, well, you haven't been raised in religion, so a lot of it won't connect with you. But because I didn't understand it, I took it all for real. I came on board for the whole thing. So it scared the fuck out of me. And for 2 weeks, every time I'd go to sleep, before I went to sleep, I'd hear a buzzing and I was sure I was getting possessed. For 2 weeks, 14-year-old kid. So that scared the shit out of me, that movie. There have been a lot of scary movies I've seen, but that one.
Have you watched it recently? Like, does it still have that effect, or?
It does in a way, because it is, if you think about it, in the 70s, that was a time of there was a lot of experimentation, and it was the time when the genre was kind of meeting serious filmmaking, and the performances were, it wasn't like, let's make a scary movie and here's all the tropes and things we have to. This was like, let's make, Rosemary's Baby and stuff like those. Let's make real serious movies about real people.
That's what I was about to say. Back then, they didn't rely on a bunch of special effects. It was like mental, I guess, however the hell you want to say.
Yeah, it was all people. It was all character, but like we call them character-driven stories.
Yeah.
It was about regular people going through intense shit.
Yeah.
You mentioned
Everything
Rosemary's
now is
Baby.
effects-
I
effects driven.
love Rosemary's Baby.
I don't know if I've ever
I
actually seen
love it
Rosemary's Baby.
so fucking much, and I make
you-
him watch it, and he loves it too. And
It's
I mean,
beautiful.
there's just something about the way it looks and the way it's shot that's just fucking beautiful. And I just
It takes itself very seriously, and it makes us like really believe that they're
yeah,
people.
I
have
fucking love
have
it.
you seen Roman Polanski's The Tenant?
No,
I haven't seen that yet.
That's my gift to you. That's
Okay.
my gift to
Actually-
you. Roman Polanski stars in it,
Oh,
and
really?
it's fucking creepy. So
I'm
have a
writing
look.
this down.
The ninth
Give me a
gate.
pen.
The ninth gate. I probably
I don't
have
have one.
seen. I'm not even joking. 100
Yep.
times. I love Johnny Depp's
Yep.
horribly.
Oh,
he's
that's the
just-
one. I
he's
like that one too.
He's ever so fucking slimy, but just enough to like him. I love the deaths, how they match the fucking cards. Just
Mhm.
everything about that movie. I could watch it over and over. And
I'm
I
about to
love
ruin.
it.
I'm about to ruin.
But
this
that's
whole
not my
list.
scariest one. If I had to go with the one that fucked me up the most, I watched Jacob's Ladder when it came out because my parents were also movie people.
Mhm.
And they were like, oh, we don't know what it's really about. And the first time I watched it, at the end, I was like, holy fuck. He's been in Vietnam this whole time. My brain just, I couldn't watch it till I was in my 20s again. And now it's one of my favorite movies, but that's
Yep.
one that it really screwed me up. That one,
I'm about to ruin this whole aesthetic. Y'all know what one of mine is?
what?
The second fucking Purge movie.
That's a
Because
that's a great franchise. It is
I
satisfying.
love every bit of it. And a lot of people didn't watch past the first one because they didn't like the first one. I love Ethan Hawke, so I loved the first one. I didn't like it. The whole thing was them in their house. I was like, they need to get out. In the second one, they do fucking get out. And that is one of the only movies to where I was worried for the people.
Yep.
Like,
That's a good house, right?
it got me. Like, it's not scary, like it didn't give me nightmares, but I'm like, oh, you better not fuck with those people.
You know what?
Like,
They're all meaningful.
oh my
Yeah.
God. That is absolutely one of my favorites.
Jason Blum has really, I mean, James Wan, all these guys who love this stuff and kind of, they're not ashamed to give us like the Funhouse gags that we may know, but they reinvent
James Wan has
nothing's-
crazy.
nothing-
updated.
fresh. And Blum, Jason, I mean, he knows, the
Yeah.
formula is great. It's like,
And
It's
I
like,
hate
we-
the people that criticize a movie that's supposed to be horror because they don't like the effects or whatever.
well, meet Guillermo del Toro and Jordan Peele.
That much shit. It's like so and so gets shot in the arm.
Uh.
Like, yeah, nobody's head got ripped off because that doesn't happen in real life. The Purge 2 is what would actually happen if the Purge fucking happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, out of all of the Purge movies, The second one,
Yeah.
I think, is the most realistic.
It's the
It's like
scary.
the-
It's the
And I'm
creepiest.
rooting
like
for
a
those
play-
people. I'm like, holy shit, please don't get caught.
We're gonna
Please don't get caught.
We're gonna complain Rambo is too violent. It's the same thing as one of like the last Rambo where he just took the 50 cal and murdered everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody
not
would
trying
do
to-
that. That's absolutely what somebody
Apparently,
would do.
gaslighting is the thing. I'm not trying to gaslight horror, but I'm saying horror for me. If you 3D explode somebody's head, that is not scary to me. If you kidnap somebody's grandma and threaten to rape her while a clown is driving a truck with machine guns on top, that is fucking scary to me. Like,
Especially if you love the person that's the victim.
Yeah.
right?
And if you
But
love the
like,
person that's the
oh
victim,
god, that
you
one.
can do anything and I'm gonna care, you know. But I mean, look at us. Look how lucky we are. Guillermo, Jordan Peele, people like Adam Robitel, all these people who are like, fuck you. I like horror. I'm making a horror movie on purpose, not because I have to. I love this shit.
Yeah,
And they're
Guillermo.
And
not
I'm gonna throw in a newer one I really loved, As Above, So Below.
I love that movie.
I love that one. It's really
A
a
lot of people talk
it's
shit about that
basically
movie too.
it's Dante's Inferno, but I don't care. I love the way that it was presented, and I liked it,
It was
a lot.
pretty. It's a
And all
pretty
of
Yeah.
Mike
movie.
Flanagan stuff. Mike Flanagan stuff with
Yeah.
even, you know, he loves horror, you know. I was lucky to go see Gerald's Game at his house.
Oh
And he's just
shit!
like-
Gerald's Game fucked me up
Damn.
too. Oh
He's
god,
awesome.
that shit. I almost
He's not-
forgot about that shit.
I mean, he's one of us. He's one of us. I was sitting there
Yeah.
and his wife was there who's in a lot of his stuff.
You
and they
saw
have
it,
a
right?
newborn,
I did,
newborn
yeah.
kid in the next newborn kid in the next room,
That
so
could
we couldn't
happen.
scream or make too
It
much
could.
noise.
Yeah.
That
But I
could
mean,
fucking happen.
These people are so much like us. It's incredible. And
And-
Andre Overdahl. I don't know if you guys know Andre, but he's he did the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh,
I saw
love
the
that
autopsy
movie.
of Jane Doe,
I love that
yes.
movie.
And these guys are accessible to us. If you go on my Facebook page or go on Facebook and just send Andre a note, he'll talk to you. He cares about what we
amazing.
think. He cares about what we think about what he's doing. He cares about what we're doing. And it's funny that our community is like that. Nick
Right.
Garrett, there's a lot of people online that will respond if you just reach out to them because they're proud to be part of the community of horror people. So we're in a good world right now for our people. It's really,
Yeah.
really great.
And we found that, like, I mean, with the wedding, with Sid willing to just to do it for us. I mean, he didn't know us, you know. I mean, you know, and it was like, man, Monster was like, Sid's ordained. You want us to see if he'll do it?
He was
And we're like,
excited. He was so excited to do it. I mean,
and we're like, well, yeah. And
you
he's
know,
like,
all those
yes,
guys,
we would love to do it. You know.
you know, all those guys are looking for purpose and meaning, and they love the stuff as much as we do. And I mean, Sid was really excited to do something that would have a profound and lasting imprint on people. You know, he loves the fans so much. I miss him. I'm gonna get all choked
I
up.
do
miss
too.
him.
I
He
know.
was something else. He was one of a kind for sure. I have a challenge for everybody in this room.
Oh, what's that?
I love the challenge.
The next time we get together, we must all have a haunted object that we've either fabricated or have a story about. We
Yes.
have to make up the most terrifying story. We will create our own
Oh,
mythology.
fuck yes.
Yes.
Well, we got it because I'm the worst, and apparently I'm in charge of booking for Drunk Theory, and they put that on our thing. So within the next 4 months, what month is it?
Who knows?
It's March.
Who am I? I have no idea.
It's March.
By August 1st,
11th.
We will follow.
Challenge accepted.
by August 1st, absolutely challenge accepted. And by August 1st, we will have something. So we will get with you in July.
Yes.
How about that?
Maybe earlier if we can find the
Maybe
object.
earlier.
Yeah.
Just to have written record because we're
You
trying
know,
to
tomorrow morning when I get up, after I wash my guts out and have some coffee, I will start on my haunted object.
Oh man, I can't wait.
That's the most
So-
fun.
And they didn't have anything, so we're
Yeah.
good.
We're good.
And so we still haven't changed your mind. You're still a skeptic, but come August,
I'm a more willing skeptic.
all right.
I want it. I want it bad.
He's skeptic. He's skepticer.
I'm
Skeptical.
skeptic adjacent.
We're gonna make you a true believer with our next one because I'm gonna come up with some bullshit. You
I
wait and
believe
see.
in all of you.
And we might even be able to work this into our, for whatever reason, I'll have a whole roll of raffle tickets. We've been trying to figure out how to use these raffle tickets.
I love this.
Right?
bought too
Like,
much- I bought too much saran wrap. Can we figure out a way to get rid of that?
we probably can, but like where I work is shutting down, so they're just giving everything away. And they were like, "Here's a roll of raffle tickets," and nobody wanted them. And I was like, "I can fucking use those."
So we're gonna do some
If you want to
contests.
give away prizes, I'll give you
Like
some.
I mean, I'm talking about a whole fucking roll. That shit is like this big. It's like a whole roll of raffle tickets.
But
Y'all
you know, you have to have a
watch my
prize.
TikToks. That's
prize
gonna be
can't
part
be
of the
raffle
contest.
We're gonna do it. But okay, so we have not swayed Joe Moe, but we will in the coming
A wee
months.
bit. A wee bit.
We thank you so much for coming. If you want to go ahead and shout yourself out again, tell people where to
Yes.
find you, what to do with you, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
come visit me on. I'm on all social media. I'm Joe Moe at Facebook. If you want to go to my website, it's gojomo.com. I'm an old fogey, but I've started watching TikTok, but only 7 hours a day.
Watch my
And,
TikToks.
I would love to
7
know
hours a day. That's rookie numbers.
Any of you-
Yeah.
The numbers up.
any of you young fans that want to start writing or want to start contributing to the genre as well as being a passenger and a great audience member, contact me. I'd be happy to support you and get you started. I publish a number of anthologies. I call them fanthologies per year, where we publish short stories. So this will be a kickstart, get you started as the new Stephen King or
We
whatever.
already
you
have an
want.
idea.
Perfect.
Absolutely. I stand behind Joe Moe. He is awesome.
Yes, he is.
He will absolutely. He supports everybody. He's amazing.
I
Our
love you guys.
favorite.
Thank you. Thank you
favorite
so much
horror
for letting me
person
talk. This
ever.
is the best.
We can't wait. That we will absolutely have you back. We're doing
I'll be
this.
there.
Doing
I'm
this
about
again?
to make up some shit or dig up something in the
Anytime.
backyard. Like,
Yo, we're gonna send Kara out with a shovel. because
dude,
she
I
likes
love to
dig.
dig. And I used to have a metal detector. I might buy a new one with my stimmy. I'm gonna spend my fucking buying stimmy on a fucking whatever.
I'm
We
spending mine
love
on
you.
crack.
Thank you so much for
Love you
coming.
too.